And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hangout with Mentors. I'm Susan Bachelder, and we show up here every Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Different topic, same place though, same time, with a value-based topic that you can take and directly apply to your life or your business, and sometimes both. And definitely step into your potential. Hopefully we also empower you and create some forward momentum. Our intention is to do big things together with you and help you do big things. So who are we? What am I talking about? Who are we? We are the Unstoppable Alliance, and we've chosen to gather together on purpose to create a community, a safe place where people can come share resources, learn, add value, and work together. So you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And tonight's topic is no different than any other, with the intention of giving you some golden nuggets to take within your life, your business, and describe exactly what we do here. So whether you are a part of our community and coming here to be fed, or if you have input as well, maybe you have questions, make sure that you use the chat and engage. The intent is for each week to be a dynamic, ongoing conversation. They're also almost always evergreen. So if you have a question or if you want a list of the previous topics, they are almost always evergreen from way back. Tonight's topic is actually a similar topic that was recorded last week on this exact time, and there's kind of a little bit of a nostalgic anniversary feeling in my heart and soul tonight. So we will touch on that as well. Freedom, I think it's really important to talk about and to really dig into it and itemize it. I think too often, myself included, we take freedom for granted, right? It's just there. We get a bit complacent with it. And I think we need to pause for two different reasons. One of them, to be deeply grateful and recognize the immense, massive freedom that we do have within our countries, as well as our life socially. But what about this industry? What about that? The networking industry, the online industry. What massive freedoms we have to choose when we want to work, how much we want to work, who we want to reach with the massive expanse of the internet, which can also distract us as well. But we can choose that. We can stop and choose that. And just like within our community, we can choose who we work with. We can choose to work amongst a group of people that are all aiming for the same thing. When I pause and think about that, like stars, like those fireworks that go off for July 1st in Canada and July 4th in the US, that's what happens inside my brain when I think of the freedom options that we have within this profession, within this industry. So I think it's worth talking about. I think it's really precious and worth talking about. Earlier this evening, when I was contemplating, maybe some key points that I might start tonight with, because I know our amazing panel always has so much to add, so I try to keep it as tight as possible. But I reviewed and I listened to the entire hour of last year's, and my heart overfilled, and I was already feeling grateful, but I was added more gratitude, because last year on this particular Hangout with Mentors, the topic again was freedom. We took a slightly different angle, but Joe and Jason joined us for the first time in the conversation. It's been a crazy year. What a ride it has been. It hasn't been easy, but those of you that are within the community, I'm sure that you feel the sense of what has been accomplished. And if you do feel that, I would like, and each one of you on the panel, if you wouldn't mind taking a moment with me, if you feel that little bit that we've accomplished this last year, which is actually massive, but just pause and think of the possibilities, the limitless possibilities of what we can do moving forward with how much freedom we've also already created in the past year. It's nothing short of magical, really. We've helped people step into their potential. We've helped empower people. We've helped people realize that they had an option, that they have more options. And the growth is just really beautiful. I know I'm feeling grateful. It's pushed me and challenged me to do more and be better. It made me a little tired and grumpy too, but just keeping it real here. It's immense. So thank you, everyone that came to watch this. There is some. I'll get right to some specific points before I hand it over to our panel. And thank you, each one of you on the panel, Tammy, Joe, Craig, and Jason, for hanging out with me. I appreciate each of you hugely. There's just really no words. All of you watching, stay till the end, because I have three really key tips on how you can achieve your freedom faster. So stay till the end. 3 tips. 3 key steps, actually. They're not tips. 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. The power of 3. And you can achieve your next level of freedom much, much faster. So I just want to share 12 things. This is from success.com. 12 things freedom means to us. And these are people who are producing. They're massively successful. And this is what freedom means to them. So while you're watching and listening to each one on the panel and what achievable freedom means to them, just contemplate these. So number 1, freedom for me is really what it comes down to is happiness. It is the ability to do things that complete me. Doing what I love just really makes me feel in control. I can resonate with that one. I'm sure some of you can. Number 2, freedom is doing a job that I love. That one makes me smile, not because I have to do it, but because I love doing it. Number 3, I'm grateful to be free to make my own choices as a woman in America. It's just gratefulness to be free. Again, that one makes me smile. Number 4, what freedom means to me is taking full advantage of the power of choice. This one is really, that should really make you pause, like maybe stop, catch your breath a little bit. There's not just one answer for everything, and having the ability to try new things, experiment, and to go down different paths is an opportunity everybody should have. Number 5, freedom to me means living in a country where, regardless of where you're from or what your background is, if you have the grit and work hard enough, anything is possible. Number 6, to me, that taste of freedom is so sweet because I grew up in a country where freedom wasn't accessible to everybody. To be free for as long as America has been, it's a privilege and it's beautiful. Number 7, freedom is about being able to choose my path in life, business, relationships, and not being told what is wrong or impossible. Number 8, independence for me means deciding who you are now and who you want to be in the future. It's taking control of your destiny. Number 9, independence to me comes back to self-determination. It's all about my drive to control my life and my choices. I can't control other people, but I can control my choices. Boom. 10, for me, being independent means I can do or say whatever I want without being worried that I'll get unnecessary judgment from others. I'd say it means I can be my true self and not be afraid to show my new, unique or quirky side. Number 11, a really great Uber driver was taking me to DFW airport. He began talking about his life, and he was from Ethiopia. He told me a story about his son who's in kindergarten. And he said when he was in Ethiopia, he had to walk 2 hours each way to get to school. He went to visit his son at kindergarten, and it was a nap time. And he couldn't understand this concept of nap time. He turned to me, still with a tear in his eye, and he said, "This is just the greatest country in the world." To me, that says a lot about independence. Number 12, independence to me is just really the ability to have an independent thought. And I think a lot of people take that for granted, in the sense that we can choose the things we want to believe and nobody's there to take that from you. On that note, I'm going to go to you, Joe. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me back. I
You
never
never
really,
left.
I know that that's true. It's been a crazy year though. As I'm listening to you speak, I'm reflecting on the personal year that I've had. And it has been a much more it's been a roller coaster that I'm not even aware of actually, because I'd be present in the moment. That's my goal, is to be present in the moment. I very rarely allow myself that freedom to go back and really objectively take a look at what has gone on. And this last year has been crazy in my personal life and my professional life. A lot of new things have come, things I've shed skin, I've let go of stuff. So, I guess for me, this concept of freedom is something that I've always been in search of, ever since I was a young kid. Sometimes I guess I must have been feeling confined. It didn't really dawn on me that I was feeling confined until I started choosing to do certain things. Like I hated school. I just hated structured education. I was like a gifted kid though. I was put into a special school. I advanced grades, but I couldn't, I felt like I was confined, and I remember when school was out, it was such a relief because I could finally do what I wanted to do on my own terms. And that's kind of a decision I made a long time ago. That's what freedom is to me, is to live life on my terms. But I'm always willing to accept the result, the consequence, right? Freedom is not free. Freedom takes work, and it takes follow through and dedication. And I will say that I've had extraordinary highs, extraordinary life as a result of direct selling, network marketing. And at the same time, based on my decisions, I have found myself, laying on an air mattress on Christmas, looking at the roof of my house going, what happened? So it's not free because you have to always be working on yourself and holding yourself accountable. And so for me, I'm really excited right now where we are. I can't even believe it's been a year that we started working together as an unstoppable alliance. It really is amazing. And so much of my own personal growth in the last year, I can tell you, it's really been, as you guys know, I was very, very active here with us, and then stuff started changing, and our alliance, it's kind of like we started taking on, we were going like this, water was coming on, there was some confusion, but it's a result of people just being accountable and staying connected. And one thing I will say about our group here, one thing I can say with absolute certainty is, regardless of what has happened over the course of the last year, the highest good has always been what the common goal is. Okay, I know from working with some of the leaders, and we've had some tumultuous times and conversations, but we've never lost sight of what is the real opportunity here, and what the real goal is, and what the real responsibilities are, okay, to maintain this equilibrium and always be there. I remember Dr. B years ago, a year ago, not years ago. It seems like I've known Dr. B forever. But I remember him talking about the fact that this group is always here, always answers questions, and is always accountable. So I can find freedom in that framework finally. You know what I mean? Like, it's going back to the beginning when I felt so confined working a job. I couldn't handle a job. I couldn't handle a job. I mean, my first jobs I couldn't handle. I've always felt confined. But I've also known that in order for me to have freedom, I have to take responsibility. That's where the work comes in, right? We're just not out here. We have to be responsible for our actions. We have to be responsible for our decisions. We got to be willing to deal with those. But I find that once you take that responsibility and you hold yourself accountable, and you find some self-actualization, there's so much freedom that comes with that, right? Because I know, one thing I know for sure is I am personally responsible for my results, and that there's freedom there because I can't point the finger at the end of the day. Right? When I found myself laying on that air mattress in a big empty house, I knew that my best efforts had gotten me here. Right? So, but I also knew that just a couple minor adjustments, a couple tweaks along the way, I could be back to having that life of choice. And that's what this is about. In direct selling and network marketing, really, it is the ticket. We do have an opportunity here that's unlike any other. When you consider that, I just saw this a short while ago, 20 years ago, this wouldn't have been possible. This morning, I was talking about Jeff Bezos, okay, what his real motivation was and what he's accomplished. He's the second wealthiest guy in the world. 23 years ago, he quit his job on Wall Street. He was a vice president of a hedge fund that was involved in marketing internet stuff, internet hedge fund, bringing capital to the internet space. And he quit his gig. He quit. That's got to be a 7-figure gig, right? He walked away. and he went and started what is now Amazon. That's real freedom, man. That's freedom when you just say, you know what, I've had enough, I'm going to walk away. And our industry provides us that opportunity. 20 years ago, it wouldn't have been possible to hold the Hangout like this, to do these business opportunities like we do, to be involved in e-education. It wouldn't have been possible. Now we have things like PayPal where we can collect funds instantaneously from anybody around the world. It is really a place where you can soar, but you have to be willing to take responsibility. No one can do this but you. You have to take responsibility. So that's my feeling. I'm really glad I'm here. I'm looking forward to another year and a year after that and a year after that, because I heard somebody say on one of the radio shows a couple days ago, she told the world what her age was. And then she said, man, I am way too young to be this old.
I like that.
So thank you very much. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. And you touched on a lot of points. And I love how many times you pointed out that our freedom is our responsibility. And we are where we are because of our actions. Absolutely. Exactly. I started last year, at the beginning of last year, with a lot of freedom. In fact, I travel. One of my freedom goals is to be as active, healthy and active as possible and travel. I traveled 9 times last year. And then I ended at end of the year, similar to what you described, not because of financial, but flat on my back looking up at the ceiling was the last quarter of the year. So yeah, our freedom comes and goes, and it's this community that was always the constant, right? People are always there, and it takes multiple leaders to pitch in and show up to create these options. It's just absolutely beautiful. So thank you, Joe, for that. Everything that you do and show up for us. Tammy, speaking of freedoms, you exercised and created a lot of freedom in this past year. So over to you. What are your thoughts on this topic and my nostalgic, unexpected bringing up?
Wow.
And welcome, Corey. I'm sorry, I didn't say welcome, Corey.
Hey, Corey. How are you?
Okay, go, Tammy.
You sure you want me to go, or do you want Jason to go next? Jason, okay. It's I've had so many things wrote down, and I'm not even going to go by my notes. I'm just going to wing it like I normally do. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, even, that it's been a year that we created this community. I really didn't. Life has been literally like it's been crazy the past couple weeks. We chose to list this house after 7 years. So it's been kind of a nostalgic, kind of a bittersweet thing going on with me. I look at my view, my beautiful view. We already have 2 people that want to look at this house. It's been a whirlwind for me. I can't even imagine working for someone or anything like that, being employed anywhere else, to be honest with you, because I probably would be fired by now. Because I literally have the freedom to do what I want, the past year. So we've had this motion going. I think I even told Jason and Joe when we formed the Unstoppable Alliance that, listen, I want to get out of New York. That was my main driving desire last fall. It didn't happen. This year it's going to happen come hell or high water. That's what I tell people. So I'm super focused on not just my family's freedom, my freedom. Like, I've shed over 100 and some pounds. I'm on track to well, honestly, I have other goals, weight goals, things like that. And if I didn't have this community and the support of people cheering me on, I don't think I could have achieved it. I don't think I could have, looking back, we're talking about nostalgic stuff, Susan. We're talking about in 2015 when you said, hey, let's do a live event. And that's when the ball started rolling. And a lot of people may not know, but that's when I made that decision to switch in my head that, I'm not going to put up with this any longer and change my health. I feel amazing. I can't even describe it. I have so much energy. I have, some people tell me that I've totally changed as a person. I am more focused on helping more people in a shorter amount of time now. And I think it's just because I feel like I'm 20 feet tall. I feel like I'm very confident in knowing, because of what we've built here, that we can really help people to achieve that freedom, not only financially, but health-wise. you know, health-wise, to be able to travel, you know, to be able to just take off when we want, if we want to, and have that freedom, you know. So that's my drive, you know, and the more freedom that I get, the happier that I get, you know. And it's crazy because, I mean, like Amanda and I, we were driving today, and she's just like, man, you're happy, Mom. You know, I'm like, yes, because we have these properties that are selling. We're going to get out of New York. And, you know, hey, I don't know. A lot of people, they think New York is the place to be. But it's really, it's not like the West. And the West is like the wild, wild West. And that is freedom to me. So I'm always seeking other places to go, other places that will give me that freedom. It's kind of crazy because I've always been this way. I mean, in high school, I can relate with Joe. I was not the kid to sit there and study. I wasn't. I was out socializing. I was in band. I was in softball, volleyball, you know, everything except for to sit and study. That was not me, you know. Now, education, higher education, I totally believe in that because I go to events, and I go to events that are in my niche that I want to study, real estate events, asset protection events, network marketing events, you know, all that kind of stuff that will grow and increase my freedom, you know. And that's the thing is that, you know, with this kind of a industry, the sky is the limit. There is no glass ceilings here for us. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to ask someone, hey, can we make $1 million a year? Just do it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to ask, you know, so let's just do it, you know? But yeah, really just choosing to work. This is the other thing I want to say is how can I word this? Freedom to choose who I really want to work with. And before, I would always just scoop up, you know, whatever or whoever that comes along, like, you know, like years ago. But now it's like we have such value here. You can almost say, hey, sorry, but you're not going to fit into this mold. Because seriously, not everybody does. Seriously, there's not a lot of people, they don't want freedom. They don't want it for whatever reason. And we don't want to pull those people. It's like pushing a noodle. I think Joe said this before. We can't push a noodle. We can't push someone to want what we have. So it's a different kind of mindset that we have. And just hanging out with friends and family over the weekend, I know we're different. I'm like the black sheep of the family because they're just like, well, what do you do? And I say, I help people create freedom. And they're just like, I just don't get it though. What do you do? You know? So not everybody fits into what we have, and that's cool. So to be able to choose who we want to hang around with and work with, that to me is freedom. You know, freedom to listen to other people on the radio show every day and all these events. You know, freedom to plug in because that's the kind of people we are. That's the kind of people that we're made that way. You know, so the universe is amazing. There's so many amazing things happening right now in my life and in everybody else's life that I see around me that it makes me super happy. So I love the fact that we have this hangout tonight, and the topic is freedom, because that's what I'm all about. Tamara, Freedom, Montgomery. That's it.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
That's why
her real name, by the way, Tamara. So
now you know why I call her Giggle Pants. Always giggling. That's
Absolutely. Well, Jason, you have to follow all that. It's over to you.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to follow. That's for certain. Can you hear me okay? Because I am in my truck here tonight as well. And, you know, I guess before I start, I do want to take this opportunity. Of course, it is the day after 4th of July, and really thank all of the men or the servicemen and women, okay, here that have indeed fought for what we're talking about here tonight, and that is our freedom. Because without you, we wouldn't be able to even be doing what we're doing right here tonight. So thank you, because it is because of people like you and the others that allowed us to do and be and have our own independent thoughts. So again, thank you, because without our freedom, I don't know what I would do. Because freedom to me personally, again, is to be able to have and do and say whatever you want when you want, within reason. When I say within reason, with the true intent of not harming or hurting anyone else. Okay, that's what true freedom is to me. Is to be able to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, without inflicting any harm. Okay, so let's get that right, on any other person. To pursue our right to, life, liberty, and happiness. That's what it's all about. And I truly believe that. I feel that, call me crazy, but I do. I feel like everybody that's here on earth deserves happiness, because that's what it's supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about anger or hatred or anything else. It's peace. Okay. And unfortunately, it's money, okay, that really drives people, and or not drives people. I mean, money in this time is freedom for a lot of people. So my goal and my mission is to, and that's why I love being aligned with the people that you see here, because we all share the same vision in one aspect, and that is we want to be able to help more people make more money, so that way they can enjoy their time freedom and their freedom, because it does take money in order to have your freedoms, okay, or anything else. Tammy said it a year ago now, and it's been an honor working with you. It's like, God, where has the year gone? But Tammy, you're saying a year ago, it's just stuck with me. I've repeated it over and over again. Money's like oxygen and blood. You have to have it in order to survive or have any decent quality of life. So my mission is to help other people experience that freedom, the freedom to be able to do what they want when they want. And it takes money to do that. And I challenge anybody to really just look at the formula that we've created. Joe said in the beginning, look back at the whole year. Susan said, look at the year. Look what's been accomplished. Okay? It's amazing when you really think about it, the grand scope of things. Okay? Sure, is there still a lot more to do? Absolutely, no question about it. It's unstoppable, right? We are unstoppable, and that's what we are, unstoppable. And there's a lot more to do. But if you focus on the power of three, that was brought up as well. Okay, focus on the power of three, and that will set you free. Because once you do get the money flowing through your bank accounts like blood and oxygen through your body, you're going to be able to find what your true purpose is and what you aspire to do. And I challenge you to really ask yourself, what is it? Okay, set those goals. If you haven't done it, set those goals. If you were making $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year extra, what would you do? In other words, try to find out who you are and then manifest it. Work backwards. Because that's what my passion is. My passion right now is to help more people to do that. And that's why we've aligned together with the Unstoppable Alliance, is because we share that same vision. We want to help as many people as possible, because, again, money, I guess I'll say it this way. Everybody, okay, in the world has their own individual wants, needs, and desires, okay? And it would be absolutely impossible to accommodate each individual, okay, because everybody's wants and needs and desires would vary widely. But the one common thing that could help is show them how to obtain more money in their life, okay? Because if we show them how to obtain more money in their life, then the money will allow them to individually cover their own wants, needs, and desires. So that's why I'm excited to be a part of what we're doing here, is formulating a model, a formula that will allow people to experience that by simply connecting other individuals to our society, if you will, our community, and sharing information, okay, sharing unlimited information. And like Tammy said, it's like, you don't have to have, okay, look, I could sit here and say, yes, you know what, you guys may not have any school, but yeah, I got straight A's in school. I did this, I did that. Well, I'd be lying if I did. I too. I am not a structured person. I don't like the idea of being told what to do. I learned that in a very early age. Okay, I mean, I had 2 jobs in my life, and I hated both of them because I didn't like to be told what to do. I felt like I was helping that person accomplish their goals and their dreams, and I had my own goals and my dreams. So yes, at 17, I became, and I think I coined this phrase. Well, I hear it a lot now, but I'm not going to say I invented it, like Al did the internet, but I I coined the phrase, I'm psychologically unemployable because I could no longer work for someone else. I wanted to be able to work for myself. So I've been an entrepreneur now since I was 17, and I get a charge of helping other people because that is allowing people to truly achieve their dreams. Unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, or a professional athlete these days, okay, what else are you going to be able to do to be able to generate unlimited income? Okay, and that is be an entrepreneur. That is my definition, quite frankly, of being a free spirit, a free entrepreneur to be able to do the things that you want to do. And with our alliance, and if you focus on the power of three and you understand how the business model works that we've formulated here, that we've created, that we're involved with, you will see how the power of three will set you free. And I'm telling you, I'm excited about this next year that's unfolding. It's going to just make so much more progress than what we've already done. And what we've already done, like you said, Susan, has been magnificent. And this is just going to magnify it. It's like a building blocks, build one right up on top of the other. And I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. And back to you, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jason. I agree with everything that you said. And there's a prime example. We can be same but different. I did get straight A's in school, but I despised the institution. In fact, I was often caught saying under my breath, I absolutely hate this building. I hate this place. I didn't like being there, but it was a means to an end. I have thick skin, and I knew that I needed to go to that school to get to the next school so I could be a nurse. And then I realized the healthcare system institution was really challenging to work within. But I developed thick skin and figured out how to work around it because all I was focused on was those patients and helping educate the nurses coming up, because when they got out of the school, in my opinion, sometimes I can be a little opinionated, as you all know, they were not ready to save lives. So I wanted to preceptor them and help them. So yeah, sometimes we do whatever it takes within the structures, but I've never been in as free of a profession as we are in right now. So much appreciation and gratitude for the profession itself, the options we have, and each one of you. Welcome, Rob. I am going to go to Craig next, but thank you so much for coming. It's all about freedom, as you picked up.
So I get to follow all
Craig.
of that.
All of that, Craig. Over to you.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Well, I want to first say that I did not generate my freedom with this business, okay? But I did generate freedom in a home-based business, started out 16 years ago. And one of the things that was probably the most exciting for me was to be able to go to my wife and give her the option to quit her job. She could leave her job, come home, and she hasn't worked for anyone else since. She's helped me with my other business that I had. But when that all fell apart, the money was in the bank to where I could take off. And so after that fell apart, that business, then I was able to be free without any work at all for a couple, 3 years. And the thing about it was, though, is that it was okay, but all of my friends were at work, except the people that, they were all at work except the people that actually worked for me with my company. And it got boring. You can only watch so many baseball games. You can only watch, play so much golf. And so that old saying, that happiness comes from the pursuit of a worthwhile goal or dream. And that's always when I was in my happiest, when I was pursuing a goal or dream. And when I took those few years off, it really just got boring, and I wasn't really happy anymore. And so that's when I ended up getting involved with this, and gives us the opportunity to chase that goal, the pursuit of a goal or a dream. And that does create happiness. I'm happiest when I'm putting the work in. When I don't put the work in, then I'm at my most unhappiest. I feel guilty, so to speak. And so for me, happiness is getting up when I want to get up. I'm a night owl, so I like to go to bed when I feel like it. and I usually get up about 8:30 or so. But to be able to sit there on the deck or in the house and enjoy Joe, listen to him, he's great. I love him. And to start my day off that way, it's great. And to be able to, if I want to take off. Or when Jason came to visit, that was great. We had a good time. You don't have to go to any boss and ask them for time off. You can just take the time off. So those are just some of the things. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but basically for me, it's being in control of my own time, being my own man, not have anyone tell me when I have to clock in or clock out or sales quotas that I have to hit, to put my effort in when I want to put the effort in, to do what I want to do, and to, like I said, pursue a worthwhile goal or dream. So that's where I stand, and I just appreciate all of you. How many people have mentors that are in front of the screen here? I mean, I don't know what everyone else sees when someone's talking. I think they just see one person, don't they? But I'm seeing all the people here, the panelists. How many people have these kinds of people in their life that they can tie into, that they can learn from, that they can counsel with, get advice from, direction from? Most of the people that they're getting their information from and the direction are employees, or they're the boss. So here we have free entrepreneurs that we can tie into and educate ourselves. You can't beat that. That's better than white sliced bread, right? Absolutely. Thank you.
I agree. I love all of the points that you brought up, Craig, and thank you so much. How valuable is that? Get up when you want, go to bed when you want, work harder when you want to. It's pretty powerful, and the freedom to have access to all of us.
Absolutely.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, like Rob always says, being able to work in his shorts, gym shorts. I love working in my pajamas in the winter. I even have a pair with the feet in them. I love those so much as a kid. I got a pair of the feet, so
you mean the onesies and feeties all in one package? Those
are but they don't have the flap in the back, so.
I got some with the flap in the back. Do you want me to send them over? Okay. Anyway, yes, that all of that, and untoward things happen. Like challenges come up, and things just happen. Like for example, when I arrived back from our week in, some of us were for a week in New York. I arrived back to the news that an aunt of mine had a stroke and had to go here, go there, do this, drop that, and then 24 hours later, my daughter's 17-year-old friend. We found out that she had died. And how many careers or jobs or professions can you just slip things around and deal with whatever you're dealing with and then adapt?
Yeah.
That's freedom. That's a priceless kind of freedom, right? So we could go on forever. Lots of great points. Rob, over to you.
Well, I love freedom. By the way, great discussion. I love this topic. And thanks for having me on, even a few minutes, actually more than a few minutes. I thought I'd be 4 or 5 minutes on tonight. So love connecting with everybody here. Love connecting with all of you guys. And the first thing that I think about when I think of just the whole concept of being your own man and freedom, I love Jason's maverick, kind of a thing. Like, I just don't want to be, to paraphrase him, his personality, I don't want to be told anything by anybody at all. But I remember in my first job that I had, I got a degree in computer engineering, and I went to work for a technology company here in Seattle. And, it was a good job. I was a single guy. And I remember I'm the last of 8 kids, and one of my sisters lives here. She's she's just like a genius. She's just sage kind of advice. And she's asking me about 8 months or so into my job. She said, well, so how's everything going? And it was going good. I worked hard and the whole stuff. And then I had this life kind of epiphany, I think is the right word. And I said, in some ways it kind of sucks. Like all I do Monday through Friday is, I wake up about 6, I get some coffee, get dressed, I go drive 30 minutes. That time it would be 30 minutes to my job. I work my butt off all day till about 6 o'clock at night. It was nice. It was a nice, good environment to work in type of a thing. It wasn't like I was loading bales of hay or something like that. I'm working with smart people, and you give my all, drive home, maybe go to the gym, eat dinner, and then like it's time to go to bed. And I'm like, this kind of sucks. Like I'm thinking like my life is passing by. And I remember distinctly her laughing. She's 20 years older than me. And she said, get used to, that's pretty funny because it was my first, experience of a job outside of college. And she said, well, you need to get used to it because this is how it is for like the next 40 or so years. And I remember thinking, man, that sucks. Like that really sucks. And in my experience also, being again kind of the last of 8 to tell another family story, I've got a brother that to this day he's many millions of dollars. But I remember he's about 5 years older than me. I was about a junior in high school. We went, and so he's an entrepreneur, always been an entrepreneur his whole life. I don't think he's ever actually had a job ever, and has done exceedingly well, although he barely graduated from high school, barely. And I remember we would go to a golf tournament they had in Tucson where I grew up, and one day, I ditched school or whatever it was, and we're goofing off and drinking beer and like you would do and he didn't look at his phone. There's no phone back then. And I remember him telling me, I probably made about $5,000 a day. And I thought, we've been like at the golf course all day long. You're making, so the difference between one sibling saying, get used to it, that's worked in the corporate world forever, you're going to do this for 40 years, and another one who actually didn't go, and she has lots of degrees. The other one barely graduated from school. He's just a hustler, entrepreneur, looking for something to do, who can goof off with you all day. Maybe he made a couple of phone calls, maybe. But that's what I call freedom. And that's what I always had desired in my life, was the ability to, control my destiny, and to that's going to come in some kind of capacity by offering a good or a service. It's going to come through sales and marketing. It's going to come through leverage. He was at the golf tournament with me all day because at that time he had a sales team. He had like, it's almost kind of network marketing. He had managers and junior managers and stuff like that. And, worked hard to get to that kind of a position. And so I look at the value that we have overall through leverage in businesses like ours. They're direct sales businesses. It's great. I love, being able to work with somebody and consult them, get paid well overall to do it. But I also like the whole idea, the concept that we have here with leverage, that you can help another person out. And in return, you get, pass ups and things like that. You get the ability through, helping people through this leverage, where you have created a business, you've created a system like a franchise or something like that, where you're off doing something entirely different and you still can get paid. To me, the ultimate would be, and I enjoy talking to people and learning about who they are. If I'm the kind of person, if I get information, I feel like I have to pass it back out, and I've got a passion for marketing. If I thought of like true financial freedom, even for my brother, wouldn't qualify in that kind of capacity. I met a guy one time that owned a massive trailer park. I think he had like 3,000 trailers. So Tammy could probably identify with this. He had somebody else run the whole thing. It's always going to be full no matter what the economy was going to be. And he probably made, 80 or 90,000 a month doing nothing whatsoever. But I think there's also a balance between just having absolute free money come in that kind of a capacity, and being able to, I don't know. I kind of like the whole getting out there and fishing, and getting out there and doing something, and getting and teaching and training and helping and teach a man to fish kind of a thing. So freedom is something that resonates with me really strongly. It's not probably quite as the strength that I see in a Jason who's like, yeah, I've never worked for anybody, man. I just can't do it kind of a thing. I've done it like probably most people that are here, and it's some of the experience and experiences in there are good, but the whole idea, even if I remember telling people, you got a great boss who you're going to say, hey, but you had to tell them, I'm going to take off. I'll put my Christmas notice in. And so we're taking off here. It wasn't even really had to even ask permission, but you did have to notify them. I'm going to be gone from this day to this day, okay, hey, no problem. Or if I wasn't coming back on that day, to say, I'm not coming back on that day. And so the being in the position where you don't have to report to anybody that you're not coming in on that day, that you're going to be late, or that you're going to go somewhere it's nice. And it's been that way for, many, many years. And all I can say to somebody that's out there that's working a job or doing something is, you can build something overall. I'm looking at the chats here a minute ago, and somebody is saying, hey, I'm on vacation and I place some ads in Craigslist. Maybe it's not 100% passive where we follow up with people, have little mini interviews with them. It's not brain science what we do. And here he said, I've got somebody coming in this week while he's out on vacation. I don't know who it was in the chat, but how cool is that? Jim is the guy's name.
Jim.
Great job. Great job, Jim. That's really cool, man. And how much does it cost to place an ad on Craigslist or Backpage? Either it's free or it's zero. There's people right now that are all over the place that are wishing and wanting for some semblance of freedom, and they'd if they knew the kind of mentorship and camaraderie and quality of people that we have within this group, I think they really got to pinch themselves. I think the people that come in, actually, they're pretty blown away when they get started, and they're like, God, I just can't, I can't believe I've got people here that are going to support me, answer my questions. Here, this person asked something about Backpage on here, like Craigslist, and I'm having a problem with such and such. And boom, Tammy jumps out and goes, oh yeah, they're doing such and such right now. Send me a message and I'll show you a workaround or something. Where do you get that? I don't know if they're financially connected. I'm assuming maybe they're not. I don't think it would make a difference, because she'd answer the question the same as anybody that's in this alliance would. So learn from somebody, digest that, use it, pass it on to somebody else. There's more than enough out there for everybody. So I love that whole concept of leverage. I love the whole concept of I don't have to do anything. It's not going to be 40 years and there's no ceiling on an income. It's good stuff. So that's what I got for you.
Thank you, Rob. Powerful stuff. Love the stories. And I love how you tied it into leveraging the community. It's almost as if you knew the point that I wanted to wrap up and close with. But that's how it goes, because we think the same, and that's what's amazing about our community. So I was going to ask everyone a question, almost rhetorical. Why is freedom more achievable here within this community? And Rob covered that for you, so I don't even have to. But it is because people from all levels of expertise and all experience and knowledge are leaders and mentors within this community and are getting started. And so there's resources and access and support at all different levels. So it is more achievable. And if you're watching this wondering if it's achievable for you, absolutely. You just simply start from where you are and take the next step. That's it. And so now I'm going to lead into the 3 steps that I promised. And before you get to the 3 steps, it does start with awareness. And it is my hopes, and I'm really sure that amongst us on the panel, we have enlightened you to believe. So it's awareness, believing that it's possible, but believing that more freedom that you have is possible. And yet before that, just having a look around and being aware of what freedoms you already have. And I forget who mentioned it, but it was definitely mentioned. Having goals. What do you want for more freedoms? And it absolutely does take money to increase and expand your existing freedoms, whether it's healthcare, whether it's like Tammy wants to relocate, literally relocate, whether it's moving, your housing, freedom of schooling. For me, a huge one was healthcare. it all takes money. And so that's what we have here, the tools, resources, and products to increase your money and help you manage that and scale up. So awareness, have some goals and awareness and create that money, and really have a mindset of people before products, before profits, people before profits. And that's what we have here in the community, and we'll help you with that. We do mindset as well. Imagine that. We help you make money and help you get your mindset in place, get your energy up. I don't know where you find all this, but 3 steps. Number 1, decide you deserve it. Most important step. Always make that big decision. You absolutely deserve to increase your freedom options. You deserve the freedom that you have. You deserve to increase your freedom options. Number 1. It's always number 1. Number 2, invest. Invest in yourself. Invest in a plan. Invest in a proven plan. Maybe that means it. If you're not started, maybe that means take that step and invest in your business. Invest in a product level that will create that income. Or maybe you need to level up. Maybe you need to invest more time in yourself, but invest. That's step 2. Step 3, just as simple as the first 2 steps, take massive action. So 3 steps. Decide you deserve it. Invest in a proven plan. Invest in yourself. Invest in stepping up. And number 3, take massive action. And that's all I have to say. I'm honored to be amongst such great panelists. Once again, thank you, each one of you. Love you. It's been an amazing year. So grateful to be here. Each one of you that are listening, if you're listening live or to the recording, if you are a part of our community, high five, kudos, open arms for showing up. It's important. We love it. It's what empowers you. It empowers us. It feeds us. If we impacted you, shout out, thank us, comments. It's that kind of thing that helps us create more of the same kind of content that you need. If you are here watching and you're not a part of the community, get back with the person that invited you. Consider it a lifeline, whatever it is. Ask them how to get started. And we do show up here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for this specific Hangout with Mentors and value-based topic. Yeah, that's about all. Does any one of you on the panel have anything you want to add? Or
I can say something if I may.
Oh,
sure.
Okay, I was just taking a little bit of an inventory here, and I think it's so cool because I know for sure that there's at least 7 different home-based business opportunities represented here, not only in the panel but in the entire attendee list. So I really love that this information and this training is applicable to our industry. It's not necessarily for a specific program or a product. And I want to say one last thing about just taking action. I've been talking all day about Jeff Bezos, the guy who invented Amazon. And, you know, he just took action. When he left New York City and he drove to Seattle, he didn't know what the business was going to be. Okay, he had quit a 7-figure gig and just decided to take action. As he was driving across the country, he was determining what would be his product. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even called Amazon. It was called Cadabra. I mean, it's just about taking action. As you said, Susan, decide you deserve it, invest in yourself, and take massive action. And that is the real key. Thank you very much for that. I'll be using that one for a long time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love how Rob, and I honestly never thought of this before, and thank you, Rob, for pointing it out repeatedly. I love, and that's another benefit of our community. I'll just touch on this, but I'm very analytical, and I create sales funnels, and I do the numbers, and I can scale up, and I can do all of that. I was very good at math and physics in school, but then there's the humanizing side that we also have. So we have automation tools, resources, and advertising, lead generation training in our community. We have amazing, intelligent people on those. And then there's the humanization part, right? Where we do all this huggy, tree hugging, love stuff. Yep. So wrap it all into one, and our community has everything that you need. Over to you, Tammy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that really the 3 steps do work, you know, like consistently. Like if you're consistent at anything, then it's amazing the change that you can accomplish. I mean, it really is. And that's the thing, is we are creating unstoppable people that just absolutely do not quit. You know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of what I've kind of noticed, especially this past year, is the glue and how this has all stayed together. Like literally, it's like sticky. I don't even know how to explain it. But I'll post up and on Facebook, you know, day 760. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do that, like, if I didn't have people around me, you know, like Joe, you'll even talk about it, you know what I mean? So when you have a desire or a dream or a goal, we will shout it out to the world. Like, I will support you like no other, you know? And I think the biggest thing I wanted to end with is that, you know, Facebook is huge. What, 2 billion people now? So if you're not shouting this out to the world right now on Facebook, you need to. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to end up with, Susan. There's always those 3 steps, but the biggest thing that you have to get in your mind tonight is you absolutely deserve it, because those are the words that changed my life when Susan told me that in 2015. So there you go. Boom. Thank you.
There you go. So hopefully each one of you are thinking about and appreciating at the same time your freedom a little bit differently. This is Freedom Week. You absolutely deserve to step into your potential, step up your game, and step into massive action. And hopefully it's with us, because we love hanging out with great people.
That's
and
right.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.